Well, hello everybody and welcome to Chef's Baking Blog. Today I'm going to make strawberry lemon blondies. So this is going to be a dense cake with strawberries in and flavoured with some lemon juice and lemon zest as well. And then with an icing on the top to add a little bit of lemon and strawberry sweetness as well. Now, I saw several recipes online. I had this recommended by my sister in Canada, but I saw several recipes online and they varied a little bit. Some were lighter than others, some had a more dense cake. And this one that I'm doing is based very heavily on one from The View from Great Ireland, which is a website or a blog. So I will post a link to that in my blog entry so that you can have a look at that particular recipe as well. But as I said, I've varied mine slightly with some of the volumes and adding lemon zest and such like. But it should be very, very nice. It's quite an easy recipe and it's going to fit into a 9-inch square cake pan like that, which I have greased and lined with parchment paper. And so we need to start off by preheating our oven to 180 degrees Celsius. That's 160 Celsius with a fan, 350 Fahrenheit. Mine's not preheating yet because I'm using my small oven and that will only take 3 minutes to come to temperature. But I will do that before I put the cake in, obviously. So I'll go on to the ingredients, and for this I have 310 grams, which is 2 cups plus 1 tablespoon of plain flour. That's based on scooping packed flour into a 250 milliliter cup. I have 227 grams, 2 sticks of unsalted butter, which has been out of the fridge for a while and it's now quite soft. I have 150 grams, 3/4 of a cup of sugar. I have 2 grams, half a teaspoon of baking powder, 3 grams, half a teaspoon of salt, the zest from 1 lemon, 60 millilitres, which is 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice. I have 1 medium egg, which would be large in the USA, and I have 140 grams, which is, as you can see, just about 1 cup diced of strawberries. So I've diced the strawberries and filled the cup and I've weighed them and it's 140 grams basically. And then for the icing, you can do whatever you want. You can do it without icing, of course, or you can make an icing just with some icing sugar and water, or icing sugar and lemon juice, or icing sugar and strawberry juice or strawberry puree. And I'm going to use a combination of those two. So I have here 110 grams of icing sugar, which is 1 cup, and I'm going to use about a tablespoon of lemon juice and a tablespoon of strawberry juice or strawberry puree. But how much I need would be determined by the thickness of the icing. And if the icing's too thick, you can add more sugar. If it's not thick enough, you can add more juice. So it's all very simple, and we start off by creaming the butter and the sugar together. And I'm going to use my hand mixer to do that, simply because it's quicker to do it like that. So I'll put the butter into a larger bowl. And I'll add the sugar. And I'm simply going to mix those together until they're nice and fluffy, basically. And that's good like that. So then I'm going to add into that my egg, and I'm going to mix that in as well. And the mixture may curdle a little bit, but it really doesn't matter because it all comes together again just as soon as you start adding the flour. So I'll just mix that through. Like that, and then I'm going to add my lemon zest and my lemon juice. Oops. And I will mix that until it's combined, and again it may curdle because of the acidity in the lemon juice, it doesn't matter. And that's good like that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my baking powder and my salt into my flour. And I'm going to mix those around with a whisk just to get those mixed through. You could sift the flour. And that's good enough like that. So I'm going to add that into the wet mixture like that, and I'm going to simply fold that until it's just about combined. And as it is just about fully combined, I'm going to fold in the strawberries as well. So that's just about combined now. So I'm going to fold the strawberries in, try and get those mixed fairly evenly throughout. And that seems to be mixed fairly well. So then I'm going to put that into my cake pan. And I'm going to do it in little batches, and that's really so that I can try to check the distribution of the strawberries throughout. And with the mixture in the pan, I'm simply going to spread it to level it off. And so that's fairly well spread now, fairly even. So I'm going to put that into my oven, and I'm going to bake it for between 30 and 35 minutes. If I test it with a skewer, it should come out clean, unless it hits a piece of strawberry, of course. And it should have just started to come away from the edges of the pan as well. At that stage, I will take it out and leave it to cool completely. And once it's cooled completely, I'll come back and show it to you, and we'll make the icing and put that on. I baked my strawberry lemon blondies for 33 minutes, and at that stage I knew that they'd coloured around the edge, firm on the top, and a skewer came out clean. So I took it out of the oven and put it onto a rack, still in the pan, and I've left it to cool down completely. So it's now nice and cool, and this is what it looks like. So it's baked up well. So the next thing to do is to make our icing. And I have my icing sugar here, and that has been sifted to get rid of any lumps. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to put in most of my strawberry puree or juice that I took strawberries and I took some strawberries and pushed them through a sieve to get that juice. And I'm simply going to mix that into the icing sugar. And I think I can put the rest in as well. And then I will add as much lemon juice as I need to get the icing to the consistency that I want, which is going to be a fairly thick consistency really. So I just pour maybe a teaspoon of lemon juice in. And that's actually not a bad consistency, I think, for my purposes. And so I will put that onto the blondies, and then I'll just spread that over in a thin layer basically. And basically that's quite good like that. And I'm just going to shake that just to help it form the shape. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just leave that. I'm going to leave it until that icing has set. It's not going to go hard, but it will set firmer. And once it's set as firm as I want it, I will take it out of the pan and we'll be ready to cut it and have a taste. So I'll come back when we're ready to have a taste of it. So my icing has now set firm enough, and I have cut my brownies into 16 pieces of roughly equal size. And as I said, it's going to be nice and moist and dense inside. So that's what it looks like basically. And I'll have a taste of this piece. It's lovely and soft, and has a nice texture to it. I'll just break off a piece. The edge is crisper than the centre pieces, obviously. I get the lovely fruity flavour, a nice tang from the lemon, but I get the flavour of the strawberry as well, and then the sweetness from the icing. So this is actually very easy to make, and you can bake it a little bit longer if you want it to be slightly drier, but for me this is just about perfect. So that's going to be it for this recipe. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you have, please give me the thumbs up below and click to subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the top right hand corner of the screen there will be an eye that you can click on, and that will take you to a link for the recipe, and I'll put a link below the video as well. And I'll be back with another recipe in the very near future. So until then, happy baking.